everyone, and welcome back to another figure review. I'm so sorry this one took so long to film. It is very hard to find time and space to film where I live, so I will just try and get through this very quickly, but sufficiently enough to where you get all the information you need if you're interested in these. These are called Body-Kun and Body-Chan. They are a DX set, gray color version. They are from a series of figures called s.h.figuarts action figures from the company Bandai and some other company that is on the box. These are similar to the Figmas that I bought a while ago. As I mentioned in that video that there were another set specifically advertised for artists, and these are them. So I will just let you take a look at the boxes. These are more expensive than the Figmas, but I do have to say that their presentation is much more interesting. They come in this neat little box with this metallic kind of look on the wording, and as you can see on the back, it is advertised for artists, so it's recommended that you pose them, take pictures, and use them as model references. Alright, I'm going to start with the male Body-Kun. I've already seen the box, and I have just chipped the tape on the side so that I can easily open it. Oh, that's way more stuff than the Figmas came with. What is this? This just looks, I don't know if you can tell because of my lighting, but this is graph paper. This may be for, I'm not sure really, photography purposes maybe. Some Japanese manuals like the Figma. This just tells you what should come in the box and all that, how to connect the joints and extra parts and all that stuff. It's in Japanese, but it's enough pictures that even if you don't know Japanese, you can easily read it. And then a neat little manual. Then it says s.h.figuarts. So it just gives you little samples of what you can do with them. That's really cool. It really shows that they're really paying attention to the artist perspective. Ooh, I love these type of things. It has a process. I just wanted to show this really close up because I really like these art progress stuff. So here there's a picture of the figurines posed, and then someone who took a picture of it and kind of traced it on the computer, and then they kind of added in the details of their characters so that it's not just the baseless figurines. And then obviously they added more detail and color. Oh, that's just so cool. I love this kind of stuff. Oh, very useful. And here are the other colors they come in. They come in black. There's the skin tone color, and these are the ones I have. And as you can see, these other colors or versions do not have the extra little like props. There's a laptop, a cell phone, a sword, and a bunch of extra hands. So I'm glad I have the version that has the extra parts because that's more fun. Now, here's the actual figure, and like the Figma, it has the blister. Very easy to open, thank goodness. Ooh, get out. There's so much stuff. A lot of tape. Alright, first thing I see here are the props. They come in these things and you just pop them off so that they don't go everywhere. So you have one half of the laptop, the other half. That might be a tablet, a cell phone. Japan does use flip phones more than they do smartphones, so that's probably why they have a flip phone here. A gun, and what is that? That might be a smartphone, I'm not sure. And then a sword. So that's neat. And then it comes with these extra hands. It's about 8 pairs for a total of 15 hands. So you can have a lot of cool combinations, and it has like pointing ones, like neat fisted ones and all that stuff. The base, which I will open later. I'm not sure what this is for. It might just be to hold your hands, but I can't imagine why you would need that. Okay. Now their base is interesting. It's this square one, unlike the Figmas, and the bottom actually comes... Oh wait, that's just a blister pack. So I thought, oh wait, never mind. Yes. So this bottom part connects and you can put all the extra pieces on the bottom. I really like that. I like how it comes with a storage for all your stuff, because Figmas don't. They do. They have that bag, but you know, I store them somewhere else. And then it says Bandai on the bottom of the base. And here's Body-Kun. He is pretty nice. I generally did want him even though I got the Figmas, because I prefer his body type. It's more average, I guess is the best way to put it. So compared to the really muscly Figma one, this one's really nice. And instead of feet, he has shoes. So here's what his head sculpt looks like. I don't think his head or his neck can turn at all. I think it's just stuck there. I can't really move it. This is what his sculpt looks like. It's very defined. Well, not that defined. It's pretty basic and average. It just lets you know that he has muscle under everything. His shoes. I think the shoes kind of look a little weird, but they do turn sideways, forward and back. Not side to side, but his toes can. Just like the Figmas. He can do the kick. Perfect 90-degree angle. His knee, my goodness, look at that. That's amazing. So that's the double joint that these are supposed to have. But his leg itself can't really go that far. He can't do the really back kick. Here's what his back looks like. He's got some muscle structure there. Let's see. And his arm can do the full 360. It looks like there's another kind of joint part there that allows it to move really smoothly, because this moves smoother than the Figmas. And this also turns, so you have that additional joint. There's this one, which I think is also double jointed, so you can do things like that. So if you were to put him in front of his face, that would go pretty far. Nice. And that can go pretty far as well. He can touch his face like that. His wrist can turn 360 degrees as well as forward and back. Not really side to side. A little. Let's see. So his torso can obviously move. Not back, but forward it can. So I think it can move pretty... Oop! Popped his arm off. Well, while we're at it. So this is the type of joint they have. It's different than the Figma ones. The Figma ones just had kind of a peg, but this is like a little ball, and you pop it in there, and that's what allows it to move so freely. So as far as stretching, I think this is pretty good. It goes pretty far. His torso, obviously, it can turn side to side. It can go pretty far. And then kind of far back. So you can see that wonderful curve of his back. But as far as... Whoa, that's crazy. As far as anything else... I mean, that's pretty good. That's amazing. Wow. And it can move from side to side as well. So you got that going on. Ooh, I popped it off again. He is much easier to stand up though. I love that. Just look at him standing on his own. So his base is interesting. Unlike the Figma, which only has 2 pieces and about 3 or so little pegs to change positions, this has extra pieces. So here's the piece to hold them. It doesn't go into their back. I don't know how I feel about that. And then it's this extra piece. Let me put this together. Okay, so I got his base attached as best as I could. It's kind of weird. Let me see if I can show y'all. I looked at the instructions and it has this, and I guess this is meant to hold his bottom part, and then these weird joints at the bottom. So the base is cool. You can turn it all the way around and in many different directions, but because this piece is so long, he can only really be in tall positions. So if you try to have him in more slouched poses, that's just not gonna work. I don't know why that was made that way. Maybe I'll pose him without the base and see if he actually stands up by himself without it. Because I feel like this is maybe just for display purposes. It's not really meant to keep him together. And you know, for mid-air poses. So we'll see. Next, I'm going to open these and see if I can pose him in a dynamic way. Alright guys, so these are the pieces that it came with. It does come with a tablet and a pen. I did not notice that. A sword, a phone, a gun, and a laptop. They all have really good detail on them. I don't know if you can see it. They're super tiny and pretty cute. I have to say, I really enjoy the fact that they put those in there. Alright, so I kind of wanted to pose him to see what the extent of his joints were, and I didn't want to try and break him, so I settled for a kind of basic sword holding pose. I don't know if you can notice, but his foot is actually like this, and the fact that he's still standing is amazing to me. Alright, I took way too long with him, so let me just open up Body-Chan. Alright, just like Body-Kun, she comes with a pamphlet of kind of instructions, I guess is the best way to put it, and this really nice art on the back. I don't know if my camera will focus to show you. Super pretty. And you know, all the stuff on how to properly do that. The same graph paper, I'll have to look at the instructions later to see what that's for. And then the little chart that tells you what parts you should have and how to put them on the figurine and yada yada. There she is. Nothing too special there. She comes with the same accessories that Body-Kun does. Exact detail and everything. The same base. The same joint parts. And here are the extra hands she gets. Same as Body-Kun except smaller because her proportions are smaller, I believe. Here's Body-Chan. So I would like to say that I never planned on buying her because I didn't like her proportions. She is styled in more of an anime-esque proportion style. So here's what Body-Chan looks like. She has a much bigger face in proportion to her neck and body, which I think looks kind of weird. But like Body-Kun, she can't move her neck much. It's just her head. But it is easier to move her joints because of this system that they built into the doll. She can do the same things that Body-Kun can, maybe a little better because of her thin arms and legs. There's her torso. You can also move pretty far. Nope, actually I think she has even less of momentum in the back than Body-Kun. She can't really move her leg back that much. But again, the double joint in the knees helps really bend her. She can do the perfect 90-degree angle. And like Body-Kun, she can do the torso side to side, forward and back. And her hips, they don't really have that extra piece that the Figmas had. It's just this piece and then that's it. Something that I find kind of odd though is her hands. Like, they're so tiny. What? Like, look at this compared to the guy. What is going on? Oh my gosh. That's so itty bitty. I'm gonna be completely honest, I didn't feel like pulling out all those hands, so I just posed her simple. So for simplicity's sake, I didn't take apart the base either because it's the same parts. So here's just a look at what she can do. She can bend pretty far. I don't know about realism that much. I can't really compare because I'm not gonna stand up and try to pose like her and see if I can do it because I'm not flexible. So it really depends on the person. So that whole thing about accurate human flexibility kind of depends on the person. But so far she's really, really versatile and I really, really do like that. She is shorter, so her base pieces are also somewhat shorter than the male's, I think. Or maybe that was just me. But yeah, she does not stand on her own as well as the male one does. It's probably due to the fact that her feet are much smaller and maybe her head is too big. I don't know. But the way she's proportioned, it makes it harder for her to stand on her own. I tried and I couldn't do it. And something also worth mentioning that I forgot to mention with the male is that they come with these extra parts which are meant as extensions. They go on this back piece and you just add it in and put these claws on this part. But I don't see myself using those.
Well, there we go, y'all. There is Body-Kun and Body-Chan. I'm gonna have to be completely honest. I still don't like Body-Chan. I never wanted her. The only reason I bought her was to make the cost of shipping more cost effective. I just don't like the way she looks. It's just not for me. It's not average enough. I love Body-Kun. He is great. I think the double joints is just amazing. There's just so much you can do with him. And I love his proportions. That's the only reason I bought him, even though I have the Figmas now. I like his proportions better. He looks more like an average male to me than Body-Chan does. Now, I'm going to compare these to the Figmas and let's see how they pair up. Here is the Body-Kun and the Archetype He from Figma. Now, it's obvious the proportions are not the same, but I was expecting Body-Kun to actually be either the same height or shorter than Figma Archetype He, but obviously that's not the case. So this kind of looks weird if you were to pair them up together, which is what I wanted to do, and now it's not as perfect as I had hoped, but I think it's still plausible to use them together. I think they work really well. One thing I will mention is that the material that Archetype He is made out of is much better in my opinion. It's made out of PVC, which is the plastic used to make high quality figurines. Body-Kun, on the other hand, is made out of a mix between that and a cheaper plastic. He feels like a cheap American action figure, honestly, and on one hand, that's kind of good, in my opinion, because you're not that worried about posing him, maybe scratching his paint somewhere. On the other hand, he does feel kind of cheap when you hold him, but he does have more weight to him, so that's good. I hope you can see, but the material they used, obviously, it looks much more jagged in the edges than the Figma does. The Figma's edges everywhere look super smooth and refined. This kind of looks a little off. Also, their chest is made out of a tougher plastic, unlike the Figmas. The Figmas have this kind of rubber thing, which allows you to move their arm in front of them without really damaging it. But this, like, once you hit that piece of plastic, it's over. There, you can't do anything else. Here's what Body-Chan and Archetype She look like together. They're actually around the same height. I was very surprised. But obviously Body-Chan, just, her head is huge. It's rounder, I guess, is the best way to put it. I still think Archetype She, the Figma, looks much better proportion-wise. She just looks more natural. Her arms are thicker than her torso should be, but I think she looks much better compared to Body-Chan. Look at how much bigger her hands are compared to Body-Chan's. I don't know who thought those tiny, tiny little hands were a good idea, but I don't know. For me, they just look weird. And I know I'm being a little harsh, but yeah, it just looks kind of weird. Here they are together. So it's all up to really what you prefer to look at when you draw, or just to display, because I know Body-Kun and Body-Chan are meant for artists, but some collectors are buying them anyway for display purposes. So coming from the perspective of an artist, these are all great. And although the Figmas are not advertised for artists, I think they make great artist models. From a collector's point of view, I think there's very noticeable flaws with all of them.
Certain things that figure collectors would care about don't matter to me. Such as, I know there was a lot of complaints in the figure community that if you bend these a certain way, they have this big gaping hole in the back. And to me, that just doesn't matter. I don't care about that. They're all pretty articulated, Body-Chan and Body-Kun's double joints. It really allows for more movement in the arms and different angles that you can pose them, as well as twist them around. Some of the leg movements are pretty similar. Didn't really make much of a difference to me with the double joints in the knees of Body-Kun, because the Figma can bend pretty far back as well. Even though a lot of people complained about this giant dip in the back of the Archetype He and She. Again, from an artist perspective, that doesn't matter to me because I'm gonna draw something over that. So the fact that it's on there, I just don't care.
I hope you can see this, but something I've seen a lot of people fight over with these is whether or not they're proportionate. The average human head is about 8.5, give or take heads, depending on Like, people are different, okay? But the average is about 8 heads tall. So I measured Figma He, and I kind of sectioned off many heads, and in total, he was about 8 heads tall. So he's proportioned right, no matter what anybody tells you. Body-Kun, on the other hand, was about 7.5 heads tall, so he's close, but he's not quite there. He was a little off. So this is for Figma She, and this is for Body-Chan. As you can see, I just traced over it. Figma She is 8 heads tall, give or take. She just has shorter legs than Body-Chan. Body-Chan's legs are ridiculous. They're like, that's not right. She is about 7 heads tall, but her legs are actually longer. The legs are supposed to be about half the height of your body, and hers were slightly longer than the Figma. So in that sense, Body-Chan is actually out of proportion, quite just a little bit. And that makes sense to me because she is modeled after anime girls, and they exaggerate all of proportions, especially legs. But I hope that's useful. So in the end, I think the Figmas are more proportioned correctly, even if they're like torso, because I know the Figma her torso is pretty thin when you look at her arms, but like you can fix that. I don't know, man. Meanwhile, the Body-Kun and Body-Chan are kind of off just a little bit. Now, if you guys want to know where to get these, I think Amiyami still might have a couple of them in stock. I'll leave any links down below to where you guys can get them. The Figmas were about $30 each, not including shipping, while the Body-Kun and Body-Chan were $50. But the set I got had props. The regular ones that don't have any extra props in them, those cost about the same as the Figmas. So again, it really depends on what you want. The price is not really a factor once you consider that some of them come with extra parts and some don't. If it's what you prefer, I think they're all worth it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video.